Well, here we are in Bonneval, start of stage 19 of this year's Tour de France, 53.5 individual time trial kilometres all the way to Chartres. It's going to be a very, very important test for the riders. In fact, the last one that's going to have any impact on the overall classification. The third individual time trial test, in fact, after the prologue in Liège and the second time trial of 42 kilometres. This is the longest one and the last bearing on the overall classification. This year could be everything still to play for, both in the yellow jersey competition and the white jersey competition.
Well, according to Sean Yates, Team Sky's Director Sportive, first 38 kilometres of today's time trial, pretty flat, pretty straightforward. We're about 12 k's in right now and been exactly right, apart from a couple of small villages. Not really anything technically to test the riders. And today, I've just had a slight tailwind. I've got to say, so far it's been very, very fast.
Well, if we think back to last year's 2011 Tour de France, it was the penultimate stage, the last individual time trial of the race, which saw that last fight for the yellow jersey, Evans overcoming his deficit to Andy Schleck, going into that yellow jersey and taking it all the way to the Champs-Élysées.
Another thing to remember today is that this race of truth comes after 3 weeks of racing already. That affects different riders in different ways. Some will be feeling the fatigue more than others. Those that came in with really good form at the start might be starting to feel the fatigue in their legs now, and some people that didn't come into the tour in quite such good form, they might be slightly fresher here at the end, able to get more power out. So, likes of Cadel Evans, he's normally good at recovery, normally goes very well in the last week of a Grand Tour, so couldn't bet against him today if he's quite close to the yellow jersey. Bradley Wiggins, so if he's anywhere near that yellow jersey, he'll be fighting tooth and nail to get hold of it before the final stage tomorrow. By this point in the Tour de France, this is stage 19 now. The riders have covered over 3,000 kilometres. A lot of alpine climbs, a lot of Pyrenean climbs, dealt with a lot of different weather conditions. And that fatigue will really start to kick in. When I did the Tour de France, at this point I was 2 kilograms lighter than when I started. It's by eating pretty much constantly all day on the bike, as soon as I got off the bike. So it just goes to show you how many calories these guys are burning every day. In terms of power, some of the guys actually find that their power can increase slightly over the course of the 3 weeks. The guys with really superior recovery powers, they come into it fairly fresh, not on really top form. They could find that the power that they do in this time trial is likely to be somewhere in the region of 420, 460 watts for the winning rider today. It could be slightly more than that first long individual test just a couple of weeks ago. I'm not expecting any riders to take a musette. In fact, I'm expecting very few to even take a bottle. They will have pre-fueled enough before this race and have enough on the bike to get them through even an hour's time trial stage like today. Today's one last point of just suffering until the end. We've got a lot of GC riders that have got to put one last effort of concentration in. The same goes for those that can win the stage. Well, I've often been asked how on earth you get through a 3-week Grand Tour, both mentally as well as physically, and it's all about breaking it down into sections. Of course, the ultimate goal is to cross the finish line at the end of 3 weeks, having achieved something special along the way. But you've really got to break that down, so you've got the rest stage, which can be goals, but even individual days, crossing the finish line is a big part of your stage each day. And even within the stage, especially on the mountain days, you can take the king of the mountains, and they can be little mini finishing lines in your head as well. So there's a lot of suffering involved over the course of the 3 weeks, obviously. But if you can break it down into little sections of suffering, it does help you get through it a little bit easier. If you look at the specialist climbers, they can expect to lose around about 3 seconds per kilometre to the likes of Evans and Wiggins on a stage like today. So over a distance like this, that's up to 3 minutes. We have now arrived in the Finnish town of Chartres. This is the last 200-metre drag up before a final sprint up here towards the finish line. The sport of cycling has become increasingly international over the last decade or so. Evans became the first Australian winner of the Tour de France this time last year, and just a couple of months ago, rider Hejsdal became the first Canadian rider to win the Giro. I bet there's going to be a lot of British fans on the side of the road for today's stage.
because in Bradley Wiggins, we've got our best chance ever of taking victory at the Tour de France this year. And if he can pull that feat off in an Olympic year, it'll be something very special indeed. Potentially a legend within British sport.